Hi, I'm Michael Bakich, Senior Editor and Photo Editor for Astronomy Magazine. Today, I'm going to tell you about 10 things that you should know before you buy your first telescope. Number 10. Three main types of telescopes exist. They are the refractor, the reflector, and the catadioptric, which also sometimes you'll hear called a compound telescope. In the refractor, lenses collect the light and focus it down the telescope's tube to the eyepiece. In the reflector, a mirror sits at the bottom of the telescope tube. Light comes through the tube, reflects off the mirror, and gets focused where the eyepiece is. A catadioptric telescope uses both lenses and mirrors. A lens at the front of the telescope pre-bends the light just a little bit before it hits the main mirror. From there, it reflects to a secondary mirror on the back of the lens. From there, it reflects through a hole back through the main mirror. That's where the eyepiece is. Now, the advantage of that type of telescope is that you can take a light path that's this big and shrink it to a telescope that's only this long. And a long light path gives you a better way to increase the magnifications when you're using certain eyepieces. Number 9. The mount is as important as the optical tube. The optical tube of any telescope is only half the equation. The tube sits on a mount of various kinds, which you can see here, and the mount sits on either a pier, if the telescope is permanently mounted, or, more usually, a tripod. So the mount and the tripod have to be of equal quality to the optical tube for you to have a good telescope. The problem with most small telescopes is not the optical tube. Actually, the optics are pretty good, but the tripod and the mount that attaches the tripod to the telescope are rickety. You know, they're cheaply made and they don't allow you to focus in, center in on the objects you're trying to target. Number 8, a go-to drive will enhance your experience. If you don't know what a go-to drive is, substitute the word computerized. So it's a computer-controlled telescope drive. What it has is several motors that move the optical tube of the telescope and a database of objects. So with a hand paddle, you can key in the Orion Nebula or the Andromeda Galaxy or Saturn, hit Go To, the telescope will move to the appropriate position in the sky, center the object, and then follow it from there. A go-to drive saves time. Older amateur astronomers, like me, sometimes think a beginner should learn the sky first, learn the constellations, learn the bright stars, learn where some of these celestial objects are. That takes time. Today's society moves a little bit faster than that. If your telescope is computer controlled, you can set it up, align it, and begin observing immediately. And even in my case, and I can certainly find these objects, it saves time for me. I mean, if I'm going to spend 5 or 10 minutes hunting a faint galaxy, I'd rather use that time observing that galaxy rather than hunting it down. Number 7, you can test drive telescopes. If you have an astronomy club in your area, go to one of their meetings, talk to a few of the members, find out when they do observing sessions. Sometimes some clubs, even the larger ones, do public observing sessions at parks or other locations around the area. Go to one of those observing sessions. What you'll find are a bunch of telescopes, and you can walk from one to the other and ask questions. And believe me, amateur astronomers love to talk about their telescopes. So just walk up and say, excuse me, I'm new to all this. I'd like to buy a telescope. Can you tell me a little bit about yours? And you'll get more information than you ever thought possible. Not only that, but then you'll get to look through their telescopes. You wouldn't buy a car without taking it for a test drive. Same thing goes for a telescope. Number 6, make sure your telescope has what you need. Most telescopes sold today are complete units. They have the optical tube, they have the mount, they have the tripod, they have a finder scope like this one. This helps you to find the location of the sky in which your object is, and then you can focus in at higher magnifications with the main telescope. They also include eyepieces like these two. Eyepieces determine what magnification, what power the telescope is at any given time. So put one eyepiece in, you might use 50 power. Substitute for a different eyepiece, it might be 100 power. So the power or magnification of a telescope is only dependent on which eyepieces you use. So most telescopes come with eyepieces, finder scopes, and everything else. Sometimes, though, certain telescopes are only the optical tube, or only the optical tube and the mount, and you'll need to buy your own eyepieces, you'll need to buy your own finder scope. Do a little reading, go to the manufacturer's website, find out what you need before you buy the telescope. Oh, and by the way, before you go out observing, grab a good star atlas. This one just happened to be lying around. I'm Michael Bakich. Thanks for watching. For more information about telescopes, visit our website at www.astronomy.com. Thanks for watching.